Good evening, everyone. My name's Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Tuesday, January 21st, 2014, and here's today's After the Bell Market Summary video brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. If you have not been to the website yet, folks, go check it out. There's a lot of free informative information in the blog section. At the same time, if you're interested in joining our proprietary trading group or taking our education course or checking out our chat room, you could contact me via ccooper at wallstreettrading.com or via the contact us button on the upper right hand side of the home page. Aside from that, let's go ahead and break down these markets today. Here we had a wild day. The market sold off straight from the open all the way until about 12 o'clock, and then we had the reversal across the board, and then that end of day selling pressure that a lot of people expect, since we had the heavy selling pressure in the morning, does not happen in the afternoon, and that's been the case ever since we had that little sell-off on the 13th, last week Monday, where a lot of shorts, I would say, got burnt. I guess going short overnight the next day, and that just last week Monday really showed that the sentiment in the market was is still strong. Because if you guys recall, if you guys recall, we had the remember we had the sell-off right there, fresh Monday. The next day we gapped up, went. Next day we gapped up, a little choppy action there, made new highs, pulled in 2 days, and then guess what? Today we open up, sell off, and we close right on the highs. So anybody that was working to stop below yesterday's low on the S&P 500, they got stopped out. And then guess what? We also made another higher pivot low today. Made a high last week. If we can make a high this week, we're going to be in another short-term uptrend from last week, and it will probably look something like this. So tomorrow going forward is going to be key. It's going to be very key on which way we go. Again, we had IBM report earnings after the bell. I hear that stock is down. So we'll see how that looks after we go through a couple things here. I'm not really going to go over the commodities and currencies today. Just know we had some selling pressure in the U.S. dollar today. We had some strength in the euro. We had some strength in the bonds today, in the 30-year and the 10-year. And that was after they sold off overnight, of course. Here, a little spike up in the volatility index, which is on my other screen, which you guys can see. A little pop in crude oil, sold off, then popped right back up around 12 o'clock when the markets reversed. And then precious metals were weak from the overnight, but then traded sideways to a little slightly higher during the session. We did have gold miners show some relative strength today, which we'll talk about that real quick. So the spiders, S&P 500, the SPY ETF, it closed up 55 cents, 54.5 cents, up 0.30%, closing at 184.18. If we break over 185, that should bring some more buyers in and get us up there. We held the 20-day exponential moving average today. We formed another higher pivot low, like I was saying earlier, and everything's still looking pretty fine and dandy. Those bulls are still in the market buying the dips, guys. So we got to stick with that until that changes. Taking a look at the triple Qs, the NASDAQ 100 up 67 cents today. Still in this nice little upward channel. Moving averages are still cruising along pretty nice. Weekly chart looks good. Monthly chart looks good. And technology is a sector that everybody wants to buy right now, believe it or not. They want that growth. So keep an eye on these stocks. They're still moving up pretty nice. The IWM here closed up 69 cents actually. The IWM, the Russell 2000, was the strongest index today. Sorry about that. That made a new high today, hitting a high of 116.87, and still a nice little upward channel on the weekly chart, which you guys can see right here. I'll bring that up here real quick. You can see a nice little upward channel there going on the IWM. So Russell 2000 leading the way. NASDAQ catching up with the momentum. S&P 500 still in there, and then we had the Dow Jones, which showed a little bit of relative weakness today, but was able again to recover from its lows there and recapture those moving averages on the daily chart here, the DIA, which is the Dow Jones ETF. Real quick, let's go and take a look at that GDX here. Again, I want to show you guys how this thing showed relative strength to the metals. All right, you can see it's still cruising along. So we do have these dip buyers coming in and buying these gold miners, as they are back at their 2008 levels, and they have been selling off since September of 2012. So obviously it makes sense for them to get a nice little bounce here, and we've been talking about that. So again, make sure you subscribe to the videos, and then of course join us in the chat room if you're interested in trading some of these things live intraday. So the indices look pretty good. Again, the VIX, same thing today, guys. It spiked up. and then got smacked right back down, as you can see here. Again, I'm really not concerned about the VIX breaking out until we at least get back above 15, 14, 60 or so. Until then, I guess you would just have to keep on shorting the rallies on the VIX. As long as the markets look strong, the VIX rallies up, short it, because that's what they end up doing at the end of the day, just fading it right back down, folks. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some stocks here. Again, I just want to make this a quick video today. Apple up $8.40 today, up 1.5%, holding support at this 540 level. Remember, they just came out with the iPhone over there with the China Mobile, I believe, on Friday. I didn't hear any numbers that came out today, any press releases on the numbers of sales they did over the weekend or anything like that. But if there was one that came out, it was probably Bush, because Apple did trade a little bit high today, and it showed relative strength out of the gate. They were downgraded by Societal. I don't know how to pronounce the last one, but some firm out there. Forgot how you pronounce their last name, but they downgraded Apple today, and of course you can see it wasn't a major downgrade because they bought the stock right back up. Amazon, up $7.44 today, making new highs here. Breaking out of this range now, guys. So you do have a nice little base to work off of Amazon. If you want to get long, you could put a stop there and down there at 390. Obviously, you got to risk about 18 or 20 bucks, but then of course you're looking for 40 bucks. At least minimum. You're looking for that 2-to-1 trade. Again, you have it. Broke out of this base right here, traded higher, consolidated in this base on top of that prior accumulation, and now it's moving higher. They have earnings coming out next week or so, on the third, not next week, but on the 30th. Yeah, next week, not this week, but next week on the 30th, and we will see how that how they handle that. I think it's going to be a good report, so we'll see. Google held the Nasdaq up today along with Apple and some other tech names. Google making new all-time highs. So when you have stocks like Google making all-time highs, it's kind of hard to be bearish this market. Stocks like Tesla up 3% today. People are still buying stocks, guys. You had Netflix show some relative weakness today, but even Netflix was able to recover off of their lows, as they have earnings coming out tomorrow. And you can see that every time it's dipped below, like say towards this 320 area, they've been just buying it right back up. So we got to see how that's going to play out. They have earnings after the market closes tomorrow. All right, IBM. Let's go and talk about that stock. IBM, they came out with their earnings after the bell. Stock closed at 188, and it's currently trading at, I know it gapped down. It's currently trading at 181. So from 188 to 181, it's down $7. I wouldn't say it's not really down that much. Usually, when the stocks, when they do bad, you get a big gap down. This one right here, it's only down $7 compared to this report last quarter where they closed at 184 or so. And they opened all the way down here at 174. They got smashed a little bit there. Actually, I'm sorry, they closed at 186, opened up the next morning at 173.89, hit a low that morning of 172.57. So we'll see how it plays out this earnings, tomorrow for IBM, see how they hold up. Let's see what else is going on. The financials, those stocks were weak today. Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley showed the majority of the weakness here. You can see Goldman Sachs is trading back inside of that channel, guys. What does that mean? We have to be a little bit worried to make sure that this action above the top of the channel is not a bull trap, guys. At the same time, Goldman Sachs does have this nice little consolidation. It's coming into what you can see. They already bought it a little bit in front of that area today, which also coincided with that rising 50-day moving average right there, right in front of that zone, demand zone down here. This little prior consolidation before the move up. So we'll see. Again, we really want to see Goldman Sachs get back above the top of this channel, just so it could be respected on a technical level. But right now, price action is moving down, and we'll have to gauge it from there. See what that stock does. Morgan Stanley. All right, remember the 50% the 50% analysis for the channel did work. Hopefully it kept you long. That compression pattern that we were eyeing, it wasn't how we would have liked to see it, with a nice little break and breakout or something. You can see it gapped up and then gapped up again as all the finances were in play, and then the stock had earnings that they did pretty well on. But they gave it back today, and we'll see if the stock wants to get some gap fill action. Let's just keep in mind though that this 32 area was a breakout, 31.75, and we also have this little gap that we can fill right here, but we also have these moving averages coming up right there too. So wouldn't get too bearish on the financials. They still look intact. JP Morgan showed some relative strength today. Uh, Pretty much came and held support at the back test of this area, prior resistance, now support. So you can see that one held up right there, pretty nice. As long as JP Morgan can hold this 57.50 area, I think we could probably start trading in a range here between 57.50 and this 59.50 area. All right, folks, and we'll go from there. We'll see how that trades. Now, what else we had going on today? Verizon, they had earnings today. They beat the top line and the bottom line. The stock traded lower, but was bought off of the lows there. Should be in play tomorrow, so keep an eye on that. J&J, they came out with their earnings report today. The stock, sold off and got bought right up. They're buying the dips in these earnings. These stocks that had these earnings come out here, and then Halliburton stock gapped up slightly, then faded all the way down, but caught support at this nice level at 49. But you can see here it's trading in a range between 49 and 51. Let's not forget it's coming off this down move, so you got down move, sideways action, usually indicative of a move lower, but right underneath 49, the stock has good support at 48. So it may chop around in this area, but if they start buying some of these energy names, keep an eye on them, all right, folks, because these things can still turn back up. Halliburton still has a nice looking monthly chart, and the weekly chart is looking a little bit bearish, but the monthly chart's still in a nice little uptrend. The daily chart action, you can see it's starting to get a little bit shaky here in this area, so keep an eye on that name as well. Alcoa was upgraded today at JP Morgan. This stock is taking off now. Finally, somebody woke the stock up. The stock's been dead money for the past 2 years now, and now it's finally getting some action, which I'm glad to see. Of course, most people aren't in the stock though, so we really want to wait for it to pull back before you try to buy it. And they do pay a little bit of a dividend, and maybe if they could start turning around more and have some more positive quarters, they could start increasing that dividend. So this definitely could be a stock that some people may start watching. Of course, it's not a big day trading stock, but if you're into swing trades, I would keep an eye on Alcoa. But even with the Alcoa upgrade, you still have some weakness. You still had some weakness in these basic material stocks like the steel stocks. You had X down close to 3% today. You had CLF down 5% today. Let's take a look at AKS. You had AKS down 3% today. So you had the Alcoa aluminum company get upgraded. CENX, another aluminum company that you should watch if Alcoa is trading bullish. Nice today. So we see a little bit of rotation going on, right? People taking money off the basic material steel plays and putting money to work in some of these aluminum plays. All right, what else we have going on today? SCTY was downgraded at JP Morgan. However, the stock was bought up on the gap down. That's good. Let's take a look and see how the other solar names held up. And I like that. That Solar City stock looks pretty good. So keep an eye on that name there. First Solar at the moving average, not really doing much there. You have TSL, hanging in there. CSIQ shows some relative strength today. So right now, I would tell you out of the gate that CSIQ and SCTY are the best looking solar stocks if you're looking to take that trade. I like how this CSIQ actually came down, formed a nice little hammer and a nice little tight range for the close here. Give a nice little expansion tomorrow. You take a look at the 60-minute chart. If it formed a bull flag or something, that would look pretty nice too. Let's take a look here. Take off the extended session, and not really didn't form a bull flag, but it was able to get back above this 42 level. And it was able to break above and close back above this 42.50. So keep an eye on this one for tomorrow. All right, this looks to me like it was a shakeout below this 41.50 area, and this thing may want to go up to the 41.36, making this action today a possible, a possible bear trap. So we'll see how that plays out. But the solars are still hanging in there. Facebook did pretty well today, up 4%. Showed relative strength. It's like we have a nice little ascending triangle action going on here, right, guys? They have earnings coming out next week, so this stock's going to be in play for sure. And they may start buying it in front of that number, so let's keep an eye on this name here. What else? Twitter showed some relative weakness today, but again, this stock's looking like dead money right now. I wouldn't get too much involved in the stock. Intraday action on that stock has been pretty crappy, by the way, as well. So Altera, they got upgraded today at JP Morgan. The stock gapped up and faded. Keep an eye on some of these. Keep an eye on some of these semiconductor stocks. They've been trying to catch a bid a little bit there. See how Intel traded today. They had earnings last week and got smoked, and then now they're hanging around this 25 area, still hanging up there. Now the basic material stocks in the independent oil and gas companies, excuse me. I know I'm trying to talk too fast here. RRC, nice looking chart here. It's starting to shape up a little bit better. You can see it's been trading this nice little range for about 8-9 months now, and now it's finally trying to get back above that range with these little higher pivot lows being formed. So somebody's buying this, and they have earnings coming out in February. The weekly chart, monthly chart looks pretty decent. Keep an eye on this name, folks. They're not too far off of those highs they made on the last trading day of the year here from 2013 on the 31st of 85 50, 85.49. COG, nice looking chart here as well. Wouldn't be surprised if this thing starts making its way towards 40. Definitely looks like people are starting to put some money to work in some of these energy names. SWN, we talked about this one as well. This one's looking pretty nice to go back up. And then you have PXD, APC, EOG, SLB, which was, I believe, was downgraded today or upgraded today. But aside from that, guys, just a day really to take note of what stocks are moving. I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be much better. We have more news coming out tomorrow, so it should be a little bit more interesting. We have the NBA purchase applications, Goldman Store sales, Redbook. Looks like the big day is really Thursday. Then Friday we have no news coming out, so Friday could be a light day. So it looks like Thursdays are really the big day that we're looking for all these reports to come out, leading indicators, house price index, home sales, stuff like that. So aside from that, folks, have a great day. Come join us in the chat room. Today we called out Facebook. That trade worked out. We called out the DOW, the Dow stock there. That stock was working out. And let's see how that closed. Dow Chemical. Little volatile day in that stock, but it gave you some decent action. Definitely gave you some decent action, especially this little move off right here when it did a little shakeout below that key 45. When it did a little shakeout below the base 45.17 and stopped right in front of our key support level we had marked as S1, which was a 45 level there. But aside from that, have a great day, folks. Tomorrow will be a better day, and we'll definitely have a better video for you guys tomorrow. Cheers.